Hi everyone, it's Raina. So this video is for those people who have their natal Saturn in the 6th house of service to others and health. So Saturn is the sign that is the ruler of Capricorn, an earth sign, and it is the traditional ruler of Aquarius, but we won't talk about that. It's really associated with Capricorn, and because Capricorn is an earth sign, Saturn in the 6th house, which is Virgo's house, really is harmonious because there is that earth connection, and it makes the attributes of this area very much aligned. So this is the area of your service to others, and this can also be considered your workplace. That can be associated with the 6th house, as well as your daily routine. So how you order your day, time management is kind of related to that, I guess. And health matters. Saturn is a lord of karma, and in the 6th house, there is a duty connected to the area of work. Saturn is associated with being structured, being self-disciplined, being ambitious, and things like that. But, because this is Virgo's house, Virgo is very organized. So it is like very good for that. I mean, I want to give a shout out to the site that I was compiling this list from. And the name of the site is advancedastrology.com. There's a hyphen between advanced and astrology. And they were the ones who said, it's this great placement for Saturn. I honestly did not know that because I felt that maybe it's created situations where a person has to really labor in their work, like they're doing very hard, unpleasant tasks for their work. And actually, I didn't see anything like that on this site for this placement. However, I had read that earlier. I mean, at an earlier date from another site. So I'm mentioning that right now because there may be some of you who do have a job that is very like drudgery, that you could say it's unpleasant, it's arduous, it's hard to do, but you do it because you have a very good work ethic that is definitely associated with this placement. And they also didn't mention this idea of, with the karma, that in a past life, you may have been a servant or a slave. And, I kind of like smile because I remember once doing a reading for Virgos, and I mentioned the servant angle. I don't think I said anything about slaves. I said about servants. And I had, boy, did I catch it from people. They were saying, I'm not a servant. And I had to, having the moon in Virgo, I had to prove myself. And I just provided a link, and it took me 2 seconds. I didn't make it up, but it just shows you the mentality of a lot of people who think of being a servant as some lowly occupation. It's really about what the 6th house represents, which is about service to others. So anything that you do can be a form of service. It is a form of service, as long as you are offering it with a free will, and you're being very cooperative. You're not doing it against your will. That would be more of a slave, and that is associated with, I don't know if it's associated with the 6th house, but they associate it with Saturn being here because of the karmic element, and what they're, not this site, but somewhere else where I read a while ago. And the reasoning is that because this is a karmic placement, it can indicate past lives in a similar vein. And because some may have been slaves, they have that same work mentality where they feel like they're here to sacrifice their own life for somebody else. I mean, when I say sacrifice their life, I mean, put other people's needs ahead of theirs. And certainly somebody who is a workaholic or just very dedicated to their job often does that. Think about that. And this could be the placement of somebody who's a workaholic. Definitely a hard worker. Now, some of the work might be hard, where, like I said before, where it is, it might even be messy, dirty, difficult. But hard meaning that the person puts a lot of effort into their work. The structure that the person has is just like the sixth house. And, I was thinking about this because I think that Capricorns are associated with the profession of architecture. So if you think about that idea of planning and coming up with some kind of outlines and stuff like that, that is so sixth house. And that's why I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you are like that. Like I said, I'm getting these keywords from that website that I just consulted, and they said something like that you're planners, and also that you're self-disciplined. This is a house of discipline, and you've got Saturn there, so it's perfect. Work is very important to you, and yet you may not experience the true fruits of your labor or success until later in life. Saturn tends to provide delays so that the person, reaps the benefits of something, but not right away. You don't like change. There can even be a rigidity with Saturn. And in this house, you may stick to your employer and the work that you're doing. Simply, maybe it's a sense of duty, but maybe it's just because you just love routine. You also love repetition. Now, I was thinking about that, and I was thinking repetition. Well, now that I think about it too, working in a factory, I mean, how many people work in factories these days? But some people still do. I worked in a factory. Now, this is back in the 80s. They had the temporary, workers. And this was when it was starting to get gutted and it was not as good. Before the 80s, it was a lot better. But I remember working in a factory, assembling paint strips into a binder. You know how you see in those paint stores where they have all the different colors in those strips? And I remember I dropped the whole thing and it was all over the floor. It didn't work out too well for me. I was working with my partner. I don't have this placement with Saturn. My partner, I believe, does. I still don't know his exact chart, but when I put it with the time I thought, then it came out like this. And some of these things do resonate in terms of his characteristics. And he told me once that he could work in a factory and have that kind of orderly life. I don't know if I believe him, but if you're the kind of person who loves structure and loves routine and loves repetition, then a job that you know exactly what you're going to do and you're going to do it over and over again might not be hell on earth. I think for me, I would go nuts. But some people like that. And I also think like the 40-hour work week might be very comforting in a sense because it's something that gives your life that sort of structure that you crave. And then you have, a routine that you can, go into, not just during the day, but, before you go to work and afterwards as well. Now, like I said, the sixth house is also about health. And this can give chronic health issues because Saturn is father time, or I don't know if maybe we have to be gender neutral now. Saturn is time. It is connected to the father though. And so there's delays, meaning that it can be very slow. So somebody has a health issue, they don't just maybe it takes a while to develop and it takes a while to totally leave the person. And there can be issues with the knees, with the bones. You can have dry skin. I don't know if we would just say like the joints in general. They said the knees specifically because Sagittarius, which is my sun sign, is connected to the thighs. So since Capricorn is right after Sag, I could see it being connected to the knees, just working its way down. The bones, the skeletal system, I think is associated with Saturn. And so at some point, what will likely kick in is a good health routine to take care of the body, and then that will help matters. Like you stick to your routines, all kinds of routines. So if the sixth house, because it's the house of health, can be the house of diet. So let's say you wanted to lose weight, you would be very, very disciplined in that. And the other thing too is getting back to talking about your work situation. There was something I saw here, and now I can't see it. I don't see what it was. Maybe it was something I already. I think I said this, didn't I? Say about erasing your karma through work. Because it's almost like by doing work and serving others, because it's almost like a karmic payback, or what would you call it? Just that I put erasing karma, but yeah. So the other thing that I didn't see, but I would imagine because the sixth house can be your coworkers, that maybe you have a karmic connection with them. And that may be something that for the good, or if it's challenging. I was going to joke and say, if you have Pluto also in the sixth house, it might be more challenging. But yeah, so anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this. If you would like a personal reading, I have all kinds, and the link is below. Thank you for listening. Take care. Bye.